Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome to a brand new Let's Play series on the channel featuring Zhang Jiao. So Zhang Jiao is only available in the Mandate of Heaven DLC, so we're starting out in the 182 start. And if we take a quick look at our leader, so Zhang Jiao here is the leader of the famous Yellow Turban Rebellion, or in our case we're going to call it the Yellow Turban Movement, because after all, if we don't fail, we're not really rebels. We are the General of Heaven. These are self-declared titles. We share the titles of General of Heaven, General of the People, and General of the Earth with our two brothers. And we are having a starting situation of normal. And probably should be easy, to be honest. Zhang Jiao is one of the stronger Yellow Turban characters out of the three brothers. Simply because he has really good zeal mechanic, but we'll talk about that later. So Zhang Jiao as a character, being the healer with the background General of Heaven, he does enjoy plus 20 fervor from characters in local counties. This is a way you can generate rebellions and mess up public order of nearby commanderies. You also give scare, which is quite nice because we'll be using Zhang Jiao on the front lines. And lastly, plus 8 morale faction wide. Now this might seem like nothing, but this is going to be a very critical part of our strategy going forward. Because plus 8 morale is actually not a small number now after the 2 rounds of nerfs to morale. So by keeping our units on the battlefield and not routing with this plus 8 morale, we're going to be able to utilize a lot more lower tier troops in our armies. So we'll take a look at that once we get into game. Faction specialization, we already kind of talked about zeal as a resource. Now, it is a resource that's shared with other Yellow Turbans, namely your two brothers, Zhang Bao and Zhang Liang. And what it does is that you guys have the same exact resource bar, and it will decay and build up, in a combined effort between the three of you. And each turn, you'll lose 21 points of zeal, 7 points for each of the brother. And I believe even if the brother's faction is destroyed, as long as the brother is still alive, you'll still lose the 7 zeal from that brother. So it's better if they don't actually get wiped. And there's many ways to maintain your zeal, or the passion for the rebellion. And for Zhang Jiao here, the best way is to incur casualties. Because Zhang Jiao is a very well-known healer, so the more casualties we have in battle, the more zeal we'll gain. Now, of course, winning fights, capturing settlements will also give you zeal, so there's many ways, but just because this says right here, zeal is gained from every casualty, that is going to be our slogan for our rebellion. We're going to make sure we maximize casualty and min-max this campaign to just focus on how to get the most zeal out of the rebellion. So we'll be very focused on this. And it's fine if we take a lot of casualties because Zhang Jiao is the great healer, so we get extra replenishment as well as increased income from zeal, in particularly commerce income, which will also come into play in our early buildings. And finally, it says that zeal will decrease over time, so it does decay as we mentioned. Symbiosis and restoration. So symbiosis because we share the resource with our brothers, and restoration because we will be taking casualties and getting replenishment at the same time. And finally, we have some unique features. 2 unique units, 1 available rank 3 for all generals if we unlock the reform. So something a little bit strange about Yellow Turbans in the 180 Mandate of Heaven is that your faction unique units are not made available to you at the beginning of the game. You must unlock them through the reform tree, which we'll look into it in the game. But basically, if we have the reform, all characters rank 3 or higher will be able to recruit Messengers of Heaven. And all characters rank 6 or higher will be able to recruit these Trojans of the 8 Immortals. So these Messenger of Heaven are very good melee cavs. They don't carry shields, but they have twice the number of cavalry units than the standard amount. So in this case, we are actually playing on extreme unit size this time. So previously we did try extreme unit size when we did the Liuchong campaign on the channel. And afterward, I realized that extreme unit size is a little bit unbalanced in the way the game is designed, as the siege weapons don't scale very well in that size and the map size doesn't scale. So you actually buff range units quite a bit, and that played out, heavily in Liuchong's favor. So afterward, we just went back to large, which I feel is more of the default build by the game. But in this case, since we're going for, heavy casualties as the goal of this campaign, I thought it might just be nice for us to enjoy extreme unit size. So in this case, all units will be 240 will be the standard infantry unit size, and cavalry should be 60 per unit. So these will be actually 120 per unit, I believe, if we double that. So we'll see that in game. We start out with one of these guys, so that'd be very fun. Lots of cavalry running around. And Chosen of the 8 Immortals, just this very strong, high armor piercing plus unbreakable unit, vulnerable to range, but we'll find some clever ways to use both of these units because we'll be, utilizing a lot of peasants to soak up the enemy archers. So they'll run out of arrow by the time our elite unit moves up. And finally, Teaching of Heaven, which is a unique heaven assignment. So this is actually quite useful. It gives us extra replenishment like we need it. But there's also a different set of assignment that's made available for Mandate of Heaven, at least the last time I played the preview build. So you could actually put in assignments to recruit new Yellow Turban characters and generals, and I find that very helpful. We'll be, planning that out because we do want a lot of characters. Yellow Turban generals are very, very powerful in the game, and they scale very, very well. So you want as many as you can get your hands on. Let's read this a little quick to get a good feel of the story. Zhang Jiao has heard his future told. He is destined to tear down the corrupt dynasty and lead the people to a better future. Known as a healer in his native Julu commandery, Zhang Jiao and his brothers were well liked by the people. Yet his discovery of the scriptures of great peace detailing the connections between heaven and earth set him on a path to raising a righteous rebellion against the Han. With his brother in tow, he will topple the corrupt government and begin the world anew. Let's see if we can do that. So once again, we'll be playing this on Legendary with 40-minute battle timer. There is only one mod being used. It will be in the description below. It's the enhanced battle camera mod so that we can zoom in and focus on the casualties, or zoom out just to see the scale of the battle with the extreme unit size. Since we're playing as Yellow Turban characters, we can't recruit any other characters, so I feel like we didn't really need to use any of the other mods, and I don't think we need to change our flag either. So we're going pretty much modless here, so let's jump into game.
四海之内，流言风起，皆云天数有变，汉作已终。张氏兄弟揭竿而起，意在诛灭无道昏君，推翻汉王朝。雄心野望如燎原之火。 一星难灭，终至欲壑难填。试问天下有谁能抵挡权柄的诱惑呢？宦官们对汉室倾颓视而不见，依旧为自己攫取着更大的权力。那些曾忠于汉王朝的诸侯，则看到了机会。世道如此。 天下人无不设法为己身谋取利益，而张角则盘算着要君临天下，统御四海。天子大权旁落，皇后和宦官们争权夺利，作乱朝政。战火已是一触即发，不知要流尽多少鲜血，才能使天下重归一统。时机已至了，将军。黄金的大旗。 已插遍天下。
汉帝昏庸无道，荼毒百姓，早已为天命所弃，必当遵从大义，当为天下诛之。我们兄弟同仇敌忾，三人一心，将为此而战。
我等与兄长同心，定能推翻汉室。 我等势不可当，必能君临天下。
你应当在北方尽快积攒实力，扩充军队。毕竟南方的汉家朝廷不会一直无所作为。
百姓闻听我等大义，必将分起响应。
将军，如今洛阳已在眼前，正静待您的正义之师驾临。
Alrighty, we're finally loaded up into the game, and Lord of Heaven, as a healer to the poorest folk of the land, you have seen the harshness of the Han government firsthand, but no longer can you sit idly by. You have risen up with your brothers, and the people have followed. The Han shall fall, and the way of peace shall rise. So unite with your brothers to defeat the Han, build carefully, for enemies surround you. And our first mission is to simply engage in the general in front of us, Gui Xiang, and then we'll be gaining 5 zeal, which is our resource, plus 5,000 in the treasury. So quite a bit of gold influx here. So real quick here, before we get started with anything, let's take a look at our current situation. So we are located in northern China. So we're north of the Yellow River. We're relatively close to historically where would be Julu County, and that's where we have our home, basically. We're from that region. And Zhang Jiao started out as this failed scholar who became a doctor. That's the version in the Romance of Three Kingdoms. There's a historical record saying that, you know, he could have been a doctor, a proper doctor, but it's very unclear. We did a very detailed lore series about it. For our Let's Talk Lore in the Fall of the Han. I'll put a link in the description below for those of you who are interested in more of a detailed historical rundown of the rise of the Yellow Turbans, the past of these three brothers, and the whole process of the Yellow Turban Rebellion. But for our sake, all we have to know is that our three brothers are spread out here around Zhongshan's town, Anping's farmland, and Ye's town. And we're hoping to grab all three on the first turn. Should be no trouble. We have very strong armies. And the rebellion has not officially started. The planned Yellow Turban Rebellion was supposed to launch in the spring season of year 184. We're currently in the winter of 182. Now historically, it didn't go according to plan because there was someone who betrayed the Yellow Turban Rebellion from the inside. And that person's actually in our camp. His name is Zhou Tang, and he is eyes and ears. And as you can see from his trait, he has disloyal. Now, doesn't mean he will betray us in the game, as the sandbox mode kicks in from the start, so we don't have to really worry about him. We can enjoy his unique bonus of +2 public order if we make him a local leader in a commandery. But historically, he basically rats out the rebellion a few months before the planned date, and that caused the government to crack down on the rebellion immediately, and that's when we'll see the whole map go to war with us. Right now, you see people like Han Fu, very quietly, you know, here, neutral with us. They don't like us. We can check attitude, right? You see it's all red. No one likes us. But we're only at war with certain factions, like Liu Yu in the north, and we'll be taking his land in the beginning. So that's kind of our current situation. We have a decent sized army, and the regionalist bonus is being applied because we currently don't hold any cities. So we have plenty of supplies, and everyone's pretty cheap. But we're gonna have to, you know, set up this army a little bit differently after we take the town, simply because these redeemed outlaws are a little bit too pricey for me. They're 173 right now at half price, so they're 72.5, I believe, is the cost. If we double it, we're looking at 145 per turn. And at that price, I can grab myself about 2 peasant volunteers. And since we just want people to die, there's really no point to pay this much for these characters. We do have an army in front of us with interesting army setup, 2 cavalry units. So 60 is the size here. We have the double size, so we do have 120 messengers of heaven in a unit. That's actually quite impressive, coming from, you know, playing on large. All the other units are standard now 240. So what else do we want to know? We want to know that what items did we get on turn 1? So this is quite a poor draw. We only got 1 common item and 1 bronze item. They're useful. We can definitely put them to work, but you could definitely get better. Preferably we want weapons, because we're stuck out with what's called a gun. It's not called a gun, it's called a gun. And it basically means a stick. And it's basically a staff weapon. We will get our legendary weapon once we complete a mission down the line. We do start out quite powerful, being at rank 5, and if you look at the stat boost, we get 100 points of stat boost for Zhang Jiao, which is very impressive. And we get plus 10 fervor for all adjacent commanderies, as well as plus 10 in local county. So we already kind of seen these bonuses. So see, it's plus 3 morale in game. So I guess he did get hit with the second round of nerfs, but the developers didn't update him on the character select screen. So this is another bug that we can report. Anyhow, other than that, his traits are fine, nothing too great. Tranquil is probably the most useful one. You get extra armor and extra replenishment for the army. Not that we need it, because if you look at our zeal bonus, which we should definitely talk about, we should talk about our unique resource. So we're currently at explosive fanaticism, so the highest amount of zeal. And what we get is 25% faction-wide replenishment boost. So replenishment caps off at 50%. If you go above 50, that's all you're going to get. So we're already halfway there just from our faction resource. We also get faction-wide 25% income from commerce. It's not the craziest income boost, but it's very nice to have. You also get plus 4 fervor from zeal in all your counties faction-wide. So you'll be able to run up these fervor count, which is the number you see here. And when you hit high fervor, it will spawn rebels to take the town. So it also passes on to nearby commanderies. The analogy that the developer used when they were launching the DLC is think of them as buckets of water, and when one overflows, it pours into the other buckets around them, and then you spread your rebellion like so. So that's kind of what we want to do. But if we start losing zeal, we do lose 7 zeal decay for each of the Zhang brothers faction-wide. We lose 21 points per turn. We're currently at 500, max is 600. So if we lose enough, I'm guessing this breakpoint's probably, I want to say 400-ish? Maybe, no, probably 300. We'll see. I never had a drop below, so never played a Yellow Turban campaign in the 182 fully, so a lot of things to learn. And we also have reforms on the first turn, which is very unique. It's a very beautiful reform tree. There's going to be a series of guides, 4 episodes of reform guides for the 182 Yellow Turbans coming out. The first episode is actually coming out tonight when this video is finished uploaded. So we'll actually have a nice rundown of the guides to follow along with the details. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I know particularly there's 2 that I really want to consider as our first reform. One option is this, the Yellow Sky Apprentice in this tree that's featured called Military Power. So each of these are themed. This is called Infrastructure and Economy. This one's called Philosophy and Trade. This one's Military Power. And finally here is Military Doctrine. So I either want to come down here to pick up Yellow Turban Apprentice, not because I enjoy the bonuses. The +1 starting rank for melee infantry is nice because peasant volunteers are considered melee infantry, but because I want this. I want General of the Flying Stones because we'll get trebuchets. So that's very powerful. So it's 10 turns total to grab these. There are 4 turn reforms, there are 6 turn reforms, there's 10 turn reform, and there's 15 turn reforms. But it's displaying as 14 because we have our research rate at 1.1. And if you divide 15 by 1.1, or 110%, which is 1.1, if you divide 15 by 1.1, you get 13 something, which is 14 turns of research time, because it always rounds up. You can't round down for research time because that little extra will not truncate away. So you'll be actually wasting research in a sense for some of these options. But anyhow, so nice even numbers. These are 4, if we get this to 200%, these will be 2 turns each. So by that logic and so forth. And there's many ways to increase research rate. A lot of Yellow Turban characters have 10% research rate boost on their skill tree. And we have separate, Yellow Turban class guides on the channel that was done when I was playing Huang Shao. So you can definitely go look at those. So one route is to go for trebuchets right away. That's kind of what I would usually do. But since we're going for a more maximized casualty, which trebuchets does contribute because we can always fire our own troop, I'm thinking about mandatory drill over here in the Military Doctrine. So you don't get any fancy units, but you get minus 15% retinue upkeep. So cheaper unit means more peasants on the field, which means more death, which means more zeal. So that's definitely something I'm considering here as well. And we can rank it up pretty quickly to the next tier, provincial coordinators, which will give us some nice deployables, which are also used for killing our own troop, because we can light the oil up and just run our own troops across it, similar to the trebuchets. But there's other things that leads to this, extra 10% replenishment, minus 10% recruitment costs. There are just some nice options here. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and just delay the trebuchet by 4 turns. So all the unit recruit be cheaper going forward in terms of upkeep, because this bonus we can enjoy during the whole campaign. So let's start out over here with mandatory drill. We can't do much in terms of diplomacy, Yellow Turbans. The one thing about the faction is there's just not much you can do, right? You can't really negotiate with any of the Han subculture or even the bandit subculture, so you don't really have diplomatic deals. We could trade with our brother, but unfortunately, we all start out regionless. So no trade deals on turn 1. Potentially we could trade with them on turn 2 if they don't trade between themselves. So it could be the situation where our brothers just trade between themselves and we get locked out. So much for being the oldest in the family. So what can we do here before we jump into the fight? We can equip some items. So if we look at our generals, we have some really nice skills unlock on Zhang Jiao already. He's a unique tree, being the leader here, unique model character. So we have Lord of Heaven. This is a very unique passive buff that only applies when Zhang Jiao falls in battle, as in unit dead. So what this does when he dies in battle is that every unit within 100 meters will enjoy 60 seconds of invincibility, which I have actually never experienced, but I'm about to find out in this campaign. I imagine you take no damage and become unbreakable and just become a strong fighting force. You also get 25 morale, so very useful. And over here, Way of the Great Peace. So this also buffs nearby units in 100 meters for 120 seconds, 25 morale, 25% range block chance, plus 25% melee evasion. So these are very useful. I'm planning to run Zhang Jiao up with the troops. You fight with the troops you want to get killed, just to stay with the men. And finally, we have Inspiring Surge, which gives us reduced cooldowns on nearby general abilities. There are some other abilities that you can pick up, but none of them are going to be active. All the Yellow Turban active ability on the bottom 3 tiers. And he does have some interesting, as a healer character, healers tend to be your more range-focused generals. So you have some of the regular character skills that are range focused, but you also have cool stuff like Insight, which gives you the 10% research rate, which is why our research rate's at 110%. But enough looking at our leader. We also have Ma Yuanyi, who's the hippophobe. So Ma Yuanyi is actually one of the better Yellow Turban generals historically, but he didn't really get to show it off. So Ma Yuanyi was one of these disciples of Zhang Jiao. So I guess we can spend this episode talking about the history a little bit set up first. So Zhang Jiao got started as a healer, and this time there was a lot of displaced population, similar to you see Tao Qian's ability having these displaced populace that's just roaming around, abandon their farmland, whether to, famine, drought, high taxes, or they didn't want to get conscripted to go west to fight the Liang rebellions that's been happening. So they just abandoned their land, which means they have no income, and it also means the government have no income. And then there were a series of diseases that hit in the early periods of 183. And throughout, there's always going to be some sort of disease. And Zhang Jiao made a name for himself as this healer. And his fame kind of grew, and tall tales. His legend just, snowballed out of control. And you had all this displaced population coming to Julu to meet Zhang Jiao, to get healed by him through his holy water. which is basically he would write a scripture on a piece of paper, a scroll, a Taoist scroll, and he will burn the scroll over a bunch of fire, a bunch of water, like, bowls of water. And as the ashes from the scripture falls into these bowls, they become blessed and basically became holy water. You drink the bowl, if you're a true believer, you get healed. So that's how the magic worked. And later on, when so many people are coming at him, we're talking about tens of 1,000 people making these pilgrimages to Judu to meet with Zhang Jiao, he would open up this well basically in front of where they lived, and he will be burning these scrolls into the well so that, it's more efficient than burning them over individual bowls of water, and then people just drink out of the well. Now, clearly, it's not actually magic healing water. Some people are just going to naturally recover, and they're going to attribute that recovery to Zhang Jiao's magic. So his fame grew quite a bit throughout the land. And as he noticed his fame, grew, he started politicizing his following. It became this pseudo-religion, pseudo-political structure. And he had these disciples that he sent out to all the provinces throughout China to organize the masses. They used a structure called 大方小方, or big square, little square. And in 大方, the number would be around, 36,000 people per, organized group. And Ma Yuanyi was one of these organizer, a disciple. And he was sent first to Yangzhou. So Yangzhou would be right around here. So Yangzhou is just the commandery in the game, but Zhou actually means province, so it's actually a misname by the developers. It should be this whole province in this region here. And he came here and organized a lot of the men, not only to organize them to, follow the religion, but he also organized them to train, because he was in charge of setting up an army and having these organized fighters move into the capital. And the whole Yellow Turban plan wasn't this widespread rebellion, it was actually to seize the capital. They had people like Tang Zhou running to the capital to bribe some of the officials who had family members that were believers, because you basically had this cult movement that was religious, healing, Taoism, right? So you have family member, maybe your aunt is a believer, maybe your uncle is a believer. So a lot of these government officials who might even be believers themselves basically took these bribes. And they were trying to mobilize a strike force in the capital. And they had all these propaganda where they made songs about how the Han is coming to an end, how the yellow sky will rise, how on the year of Jiazi, which is the first year of 60-year cycles in the Chinese calendar. The Chinese calendar is every year has a name, and the name repeats every 60 year. And it turns out the year 184 will fall on the first year of the calendar. So Jiazi is the name of the year. And there's actually a date of that's called Jiazi as well. So it's kind of setting up, feels very, serendipitous in a sense to kind of get the populace involved in this movement. And they were hoping to get this strike at the capital that would just wipe out the palace. Either you take the emperor hostage or maybe you even kill him, and then Zhang Jiao will replace him as the leader. But that plan didn't work because Tang Zhou betrayed the movement, told the officials about the plan a couple months before, massive crackdown in the capital, thousands of people arrested and captured, including Ma Yuanyi, who had already mobilized his troops into the city. And he was captured and tried for treason, and the punishment for treason is something called 车裂. 车裂, or more commonly known later on in Chinese called 五马分尸, is basically tying each of your limbs and your neck to a rope, and the other end of the rope would be a horse. And then they will get all 5 horses to charge in 5 different directions, and you'll be pulled apart. So that's why in-game he's called the hippophobe, because of the way he died. But fortunately for us, he's a pretty decent character in-game. He's a scholar, and he does have this unique background. It does hurt charge bonus if we ever make him into a leadership role, which we will not. But overall, he's great. He's a very good duelist. If you look at his skill set, he has Inner Fire, which boosts his passive melee attack rate by 33%, and he has Condemn, which gives a very powerful ability to use in fights. Really long cooldown, but really, really strong. 30 seconds of causing the enemy to lose 50% melee evasion, and also 7.5k splash damage. So very powerful ability to use in a fight. So he's going to be our main duelist, also with high expertise in this case. So he's going to be very useful in fighting. His other ability, if we ever get it, it's Preach, which actually boosts people around him to get armor and melee invasion, including himself, which makes him just an even stronger duelist. He's kind of like your Sentinel character in the base game. So you kind of want to use him in that way. We should really try to get him a weapon. That's what we really need. And then the last character in our army, so the Brewer is very generic, and a lot of these Yellow Turban characters didn't get written down in history, so no stories for him, unfortunately. But what we have here is the standard character for Brewery. You get 15 points of stat, some public order bonus. He has some very nice army buffs. So Strength of the Land gives extra charge resistance, gets some extra armor. Disorient can make the enemy units to stop moving for 10 seconds. It's actually quite useful. You can draw them out, freeze them, run back, and you kind of split the enemy army up. So he's kind of like this background character for now. Now the thing you have to notice is that veteran characters are very useful for Yellow Turbans because veteran characters are the ones that can recruit siege weapons. Only veterans can recruit trebuchets. So definitely keep your veterans. Now not all veterans are created equally. What I mean by that is you notice on the tree you have a bunch of these uniquely Yellow Turban skills, right, which we see here all over the place. And aside from these, you always have 4 regular skills that comes in from the standard skill tree, assuming these are generic characters. So you're not gonna always have the skill you need. Each of these different background classes will have unique setups. And what we want here is obviously Flaming Shot, which he does not have. So that is kind of a bummer. So just keep your eye out for more veterans. We only have 1, so if we could actually try to get more, we'll definitely do that. So that's kind of our setup. We picked up our reform. We can't really do much diplomacy, so actually let's have a taste of this, extreme size battling. He's going to be our main fighter. I'm going to give him some items. Why not give him this one? Mobilizer is quite good for mustering, but we don't have a military expert. He can pick up some extra health. I think that's it. I think the only free item you start out with is the Stone Pig, which I think we'll give to Zhang Jiao. We can use our, gun to whack people. Alright, let's jump into this fight here. So, very easy win. One of the generals already have Night Battle enabled from Composure skill, or maybe one of the Yellow Turban skills, I'm not sure. But it's nice to have. 15 morale hit is actually very, very strong. So we'll take this. There's an argument to be made where we don't take this, and so the enemy army can fight longer and kill us more, but I think we'll go for Night Battle. Let's fight this. Alrighty, we're loaded up in here. Nice winter day, no snow or anything. Very small enemy force. We're not really fighting this, to fight it cleanly or anything. We're fighting it so that we can fight it very messy. So we're gonna pull up this unit back. This unit has all our unique units. We want them to stay nice and safe in the back, and we'll put them right here. They don't need to get in harm's way. These guys, however, can die. So we said that Ma Yuanyi is going to be our duelist, so we'll let him duel. We'll do the challenge. We'll turn these off. Actually, we'll turn all 3 off, and we'll let him challenge the enemy, because you get more experience if you initiate the duel than accepting one. So he will do that. He can chill in the back. I don't actually, oh, not him. He can chill in the back. I don't actually need him to do much. And for our units, we want them to die, right? We want them to get killed by the enemy cavalry. Now the strange thing about the enemy cavalry is that they actually want to flank. The AI is kind of defaulted to flanking you. So we want to set up pretty wide, actually, so that we can make sure they run into our units, because they don't want them to bypass us. So we're going to spread out like this. We're going to put the outer units a little bit fanned out. Zhang Jiao will be right here. We'll get off our horse. We're one of the boys, So he's going to be dueling. Zhang Jiao will be charging up with the men. And that's about it. So let's just go. forward. And we'll pick up the duel whenever he's in range. There we go. Let's take a look at our men. So these are actually quite nice units. Redeem Outlaws, you know, pretty strong. Think of them as a little bit buffed up version of the Saber Militia in the base game. Alright, so they're trying to flank, as you can see. That's why we fanned out, so that they can run into us. They're going for Zhang Jiao. That's fine. If we do die, we get to see, you know, our ability. Alright, so if they do charge us like this, we're gonna send our men over. We just want to catch them. They actually didn't get a quality charge. They only killed about 40. Ooh, it's dropping fast. That charge bonus lasts about 10 seconds. But they're losing to Zhang Jiao. Zhang Jiao's getting, you know, taking some damage. We want to try to cut them off. Don't let them rout. Or we can actually let them rout once, because what will happen is that they will probably regroup. So we're just going to get our boys lined up here again, as wide as possible, so that when they charge back, we can definitely catch them. Our duel is going to go very well. Might as well use our ability, actually. It's 300-second cooldown. It'll go quite fast. It'll be 100 with Zhang Jiao around. Oh, there's some cavalry trap. Oh, they're coming back. They're coming back. Good. Nice charge on us, please. Zhang Jiao needs to get unbreakable. Alright, we'll give a boost so everyone gets some extra morale. Look at us. Look at us doing magic here. Alright, fight. Use your stick. Let's see what you can do. More interested in you than the duel. Oh, whacking someone? Oh, guess he is. Any unit will do. Ah, they're routing again. With fragile morale. It's night battle. And that's what I was kind of debating. If we don't do night battle, we could potentially, you know, take more damage. Oh, they're coming back. Maybe Zhang Jiao shouldn't be in the front. He doesn't have Unbreakable yet. He's one level away. We'll pick up that skill, so that way he can fight till the end. Yeah, we'll make sure they can't, you know, not charge us. Ooh, that's a good one. See, they're flanking. Okay, that's fine. Flank, flank, flank. Look at that. Look at that. Just mowing through our men. Oh, they got up. Ah, too strong. They routed again. Oh, this time they routed for good. So I think you can only route about 3-4 times now before you just are knocked out for good. Yeah, they didn't even lose that many units. They have more than half left. Let's see if Zhang Jiao can whack someone. The duel might be ending soon. Oh, he whacked someone. I didn't kill it. Very weak. He has a lot of health. Right. Alright, they're done too. So now we just watch this. We'll see if we can reduce his cooldown, because it's going to drop 3 seconds every second instead of now just one. You know, it's going to go really fast. The Inspiring Surge is great. How many men did we lose? Let's see. 34. He's lost a bunch. Ooh, right in the head. There we go. Part 1 of our mission successful. Alrighty. Guess you could behead people with a gun. We only lost 141, so it's not going to make any difference in terms of zeal. I think we'll just get the base 10 zeal for winning a fight. Which is fine. We'll try to get, you know, thousands of death in the future. That's our dream. You know, 2 stacks of armies, tons of peasant volunteers charging forward into the enemy lines. You know, thousands of bodies on the ground. We don't need to pick up replenishment ever. So we get income. And we got ourselves a nice 5,000 boost to treasury plus 5 zeal. Our next goal is to pick up Zhongshan's town, which is right in front of us, for a little bit more zeal, and also unlock the mission to bolster the strength of the rebellion. So this series of missions is actually very useful, and we're gonna take a look at that after we take Zhongshan. Did we by chance get any items from that? Nope. Maybe we'll get a new item after taking the town.
一匡天下。
So same logic, we will fight these manually for most of this campaign, simply because we want death. So let's go. Alrighty, so we're loaded up in here. Lots of towers, which is great because that means, you know, we can force a lot of our men to die. But we're still going to try to be slightly efficient here. I think we'll go for this diagonal door right here. There's going to be a lot of barricades though. If they barricade both of these, it could get a little bit awkward. Actually, I don't think they'll barricade both if I put my army over here. I think they'll probably just barricade one. We could also do the spread out approach. So we could have like... Well, I still want to babysit these guys. What if I put them... Actually, we'll put them together because I want maximum death. So all these guys are here. These generals can stay back. They don't get to have any kills. We'll just use this group because this is the group we're sacrificing. Once again, we're just like the boys. We are not going to be riding our horse. And we're just actually going to just assault the door. Yeah, you never see me do this. These are just, you know, slightly too nice of a unit. Oh, body's gonna drop real fast with the towers. Towers in this game is no joke. They killed one of the flag bearers too. This unit's probably gonna be pretty wiped at the end. And we'll pull ourselves back a little bit. And then we'll go forward right behind. And we want to charge right at that unit. Pretty fanned out right now, but that's fine. And we gotta bust through this door here. It's not gonna be the easiest experience, but night battle does help because they have dropped morale here. So they're probably gonna rout after taking a bit of casualty. And these machine guns. Look at that, look at the sound of that. It's basically a machine gun firing at us. Look at the body all over the ground. And the archers are firing. So this unit actually don't want to be in the front because they're so weak already. They're not going to be very efficient here. And if they rout, it's just going to make the units in the back worse. Oh, they're charging out. That's a big mistake, my friend. But these guys were just here to meat shield. Now we charge. Look at that. It's not like cavalry. In the future, we might even run like a full unit of Messenger of Heaven, just suicide charge them. Alright, let's see. Zhang Jiao charging to the front. Ooh, look at that whack. Oh, they're already routing. Oh, their morale's really bad. Alright, breakthrough. Poor archers. We can probably counter archers a few ways in our campaign for our, you know, units that are not that strong against range. We can either try to collect a bunch of Burren officers and just neutralize their ammo, or we can just have our peasant volunteers soak up all the ammo beforehand. Oh, what are we doing? Are we chasing? Can we whack instead of chase? There's guys right next to you. Maybe that guy? Alright, we're going to get the weakest unit to stay on that. And then the other three will continue. Let's see, they barricaded there. Alright, we need to go fight the militias here. Zhang Jiao, have you killed anyone yet? 5 kills, okay. Yeah, we'll fight that. Zhang Jiao, let's see what we can do. No, just stay right here on the militia. They're poking you like crazy. Ooh, we choked one out. Look at that. Show them who's boss. Oh wow, we can do a lot with the Gun. How's our troop doing? Alright, they made it. Yeah, we need to get him his healer staff. This Gun looks really sad right now. Oh, we're breaking them pretty easily. There's just another archer units in the back here. We'll go get them. Charge. We'll pull him back just to give the boost. You can't use this unless you're not engaged in a fight, so we have to draw him out. Alright, give everyone a nice boost. Why not, right? And then we'll go right back into the fight. Alright. They're gonna bounce back, which is great. Did the other unit bounce back, or did we actually kill all of them? Oh, we actually killed... Huh, pretty good. We killed that entire Z unit? Or one of these routing ones, those guys. Yeah, maybe this one. They ran back. Now let's see, who is weak and who's strong? We'll take the strong ones to go this way. Yeah, I think there's no more unit. I think we just go after that archer and we're fine. And then the other two will pick up these retreating units. They should be good enough to just take on this remaining group of G infantry captains. Oh. How are you doing? Oh, wow. He took out his arm with a stick. Magic. Let's go, go, go. Someone should probably get tower. Oh, they got it. That entire streaming line. We got shields. These archers aren't doing enough damage to us. That's why. Look at the arrow stuck on the shield. That's why we kind of want. Ooh, scholars with swords. Are they? They probably fight us. Usually they. Well, that's a maiden. Well, she's gonna get trampled. Oh, here comes some scholars. I think they're just evacuating now. City's lost. Abandon all hope. The peasant class has risen. Okay. Fight the unit that's bounced back. We're a little slow, aren't we? Too heavily armored. That's another reason why we need to switch to peasant volunteers. But we actually got a real fight over here. They bounced back quite nicely. Trying to flank us. They could fire arrows right now on the back. Without the shield, that'll do a lot of damage. There we go. Now they're using strategy. It's like fake retreat, bounce back, fire behind. Except for why are they arcing into their own troops? Just fire these boys. Alright, now I think it's pretty much over. I don't know if we can catch these guys. Everyone's tired. Yeah, they're tired too. We just wear too much armor. Oh, same speed. 38, 38. Well, we'll just keep chasing. It's fine. There's nothing else better to do. Alright, we'll send this guy back. He can stay on him. Zhang Jiao's having a hard time dying. We can't see invincible. Not yet, but we'll see it plenty of time. And you don't really have to worry about picking up bad traits from, you know, dying. Because if you win the fight, the chance of picking up a bad trait is very, very low. It's only when you lose a fight that you have a very high chance of picking up a bad trait. Alright, that's it. With that routing, that means they caught them. Alright, nice victory. Lots of casualties. Alrighty, so we got ourselves our first location. So our nice regionalist bonus will go away next turn. We lost 300 men. We got 2 points of extra zeal. So that's what we're gunning for. Extra death, extra zeal. And we have a pretty unique option here, occupied and aid the wounded. It's a very weird math. So technically you get 100k extra population growth, then you get hit with the 20% population loss that you always get with the standard occupy. But here we aid wounded. But I think the order of the math for the game is different. So in this case, 300k town's max population is 300k. So logically you would think you lose the 20%, so you'd be at 240k and you get 100 extra, so you go back to 300k. But what it does is actually it tries to add the 300k first and then takes 20% off from that, which means you can't add 100k because it's already maxed out. So we can just see this in action. So we basically be at 240k. Not very important, but just a little thing. So the Mandate of Heaven has started. The corrupt Han Dynasty has lost the Mandate of Heaven. The people of China now look to you to free them from the tyranny of the imperial court. strike out against the Han, but beware, they still have a number of warlords and armies under their command. They will not sit idly by whilst followers of heaven seek battle with their subject. Yellow sky shall rise, and we get a bunch of missions. So complete missions to bolster the Yellow Turbans before the Han retaliate. So we don't have a lot of time to do these. So this is where things get interesting because we can decide what to do. So control the following 3 settlements either by direct ownership or through military allies, which means one of the brothers need to be holding them, right? That's the military allies. We're always allies with our brothers. So Taiyuan Town, Taiyuan Iron Mine, and Taiyuan Toolmaker. So if we have the entirety of Taiyuan, we gain powerful equipments for the Yellow Turbans. That means we get our magical staff, as you see here. And historically, it should just be a 9 segmented bamboo stick. It was called 9节棍, so it has basically 9 bumps, like the bamboo bumps you know from the tree. But here they made a very nice mythical staff, and we'll love to have that. So we'll definitely try to focus on this. And then the enemy of heaven are destroyed by Zhang Jiao. Here we have to defeat 20 armies or garrisons, and this is, basically we have to fight and fight and fight, and we get extra population growth, huge population growth. 20k population growth is huge for 20 turns. That's a lot of population. That's 400k to all your counties. That's really fast. And it's county growth, right? So if you have a commandery that has 3 counties, like Taiyuan, right? You have the actual settlement plus 2 specialty counties. You're actually gaining 60k per turn. So a lot of population. We also get plus 50% family estate. We have a very neutral family estate, so this would be extra 1,000 gold per turn basically for 20 turns, and then 10% replenishment on top of that. Also very strong. So just keep fighting. And the other one is destroy Liu Yu as a faction. We get He Yi to join the rebellion. He Yi can either join the rebellion by starting his own faction in the south, or he can join the rebellion by joining you directly. So that's another option you have. And Liu Yu is right next to us, and we're ready to war with them. Next, this one's probably the easiest. You probably don't need to worry about this at all. Just basically expand out a little bit more. Anping Farmland, Ye Farmland, Zhongshan Livestock Farm. They're basically the counties that most of the brothers start out with. So you easily get this, pick up 5,000 more gold, and that's it. So we kind of want items, because that's what I kind of want. So we're coming for Taiyuan, even though logically attacking the northeast corner is probably going to be more secure long term, but Taiyuan's nice to have, so we're going for that. And plus we need to get Zhongshan Livestock Farm for the other mission, and Liu Yu owns that, so 2 birds 1 stone. We're going for that. We can recruit on turn 1, just like we can get a reform on turn 1 in the Mandate of Heaven DLC. So these still show 73, but they're going to go back to 145. So we actually don't want that. Instead, the unit we really want are just these basic peasant volunteers. These guys aren't that bad, to be honest. They have pretty decent charge, 79. I mean, clearly you're not going to be as good as the Redeemed Outlaw, but if you look at the damage, 28 base damage here, plus 9 armor piercing at 30 attack rate. You look at these guys carrying pitchforks and hoes, you have 24 attack rate, so definitely slower. But you hit for 42 base damage. So base damage is not that bad in the early game. Enemies don't wear that much armor. Like even if you have 20% armor, you lose 8 damage, let's say. You're still hitting 34. You're actually going to hurt more than these guys per hit. Right, if you look at these guys hitting that same, 20% armor guy, you lose about 6 damage, 22, plus 9, you're coming out at around 31. So you're going to hit, a little bit more, as the peasant volunteer. And it's a whole lot cheaper. It's 43 right now, which is actually 42.5. So it's going to go to 85. And that's one of the most efficient units you can use for the strategy of dying. And it says on the unit card, expendable. That's what they're here for. So we're going for that. And you can see we have ridiculous amount of replenishment, 41% right now without building anything crazy. So a lot of these guys will heal up in 2 turns. This guy heals us in 1 turn. So that's what we're going to go for. We're going to use up whatever amount of men they have left. So we're actually going to replace these units with a swap option. so that they replenish up a little bit faster. So I think, actually I think you could probably, yeah, I could probably just have kept swapping. Nope, can't. I have to re-click. Unfortunate. Nope, have to re-click every time. Alright, so for the price of, you know, one of those units, I think we can comfortably go for 2 of these units. And we're actually going to put all of them on Ma Yuanyi. There's a few reasons for this. Because veterans, even though he's not an ideal veteran because he doesn't have Flaming Shot, we probably, you know, don't have a choice because he's our only veteran. So if we want trebuchets, he's going to have to recruit them. So we're going to keep a couple slots open. And that's about it. I don't know if we actually need a Z Defector, but these guys are cheap. Right, you have 42 costs on these guys, so I think we might just keep them. We can probably let them join the peasants in the charge. Archers are nice to have, they're all pretty cheap. Should probably load up on more archers, but he has such nice unique units that we're not really going to do much here. In terms of building the town, there's 2 particular buildings that I highly recommend all Yellow Turban players to focus on in the early game. One is Communal Inn. So there's a nice bit of income here, 50, it's not, you know, crazy amount of income, but you get faction-wide satisfaction, which is pretty critical because on legendary difficulty, you get hit with the general discontent. So people's not really going to be happy, and Yellow Turbans don't have access to titles. So you can't do anything to make them happy other than give them items. So definitely spam Communal Inn all over the place. It also increased fervor, so that's, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone. You want a lot of fervor as Yellow Turban. And other building is Forge. It's pretty straightforward. You get 10% extra replenishment, you get 80 extra industry income, and 10% extra income from industry, so all good stuff. And it's a free upgrade, no reform needed. So you basically get 20 extra replenishment, which we don't even need as Zhang Jiao. We just need 10% more. So we're going to go for a Communal Inn pretty early and then switch into the Forge building pretty much everywhere. They have this build here. I think this was their, I don't know what it was. It automatically converts. It could be the tax collection building. It could also have been, it probably was a tax collection building. Regardless, we're demolishing it. We have assignments here. This is definitely something we're going to do. So attract talent is the one I was talking about. Here, what we're going to do... Oh, wait. +2 starting rank for all recruits. Oh, no. Okay. So we already recruited, which is fine. These are just peasants. But in the future, we can definitely take advantage of that. Or else we would have waited a turn. And we would have got rank 3 peasants. And then with our reform pickup, we can get rank 4 in the future. Which is pretty nice. But we definitely want... to keep attracting talents. Now, which one's better suited for the job is the question. Like, who do I want to level up? So here he has insight. He definitely want them to grab insight as early as possible. He doesn't have insight. He could give us some industry income here. He has insight on the very next level up. So 不死 here will actually pick up this. We want more veterans. So we'll have him do this assignment here. We have a building coming down. So you see the 240k math. It's fine. Oh, I see how the math works. We get 100k migration for the next turn. Well, that's beautiful. Okay, so we actually will hit the right amount of math. I always just looked at the population and be like, we lost 20%. Never noticed that you actually get the 100k right away for the next turn. Do I want to just rush this then? That way I can get the full 100k, because right now we're just going to get 60 of that. It's not going to be that expensive. Yeah, we have the money. Let's do it. So now we actually have 400k max and we can absorb that full 100k. And it's not a big deal. You know, you get a little bit extra income to all sources, you get closer to having an extra building construction slot, and you also get, you know, replenishment bonus at a higher population. So, good stuff. We did pick up an item, but armor is completely useless for Yellow Turbans because we have unique armors on everyone. Alright, so that kind of wraps up our turn. We could raise army. That's the only other thing I can think of. We could have these guys standing out on the field rather than right? He could give the commandery +2 public order just by standing there. He can give his retinues 10% armor. We can just have them follow us, basically. 1,400 gold.
苍天必亡。
Right, I think we might as well do it.
运用智慧吧，启迪智慧。
Does it matter who's leading? When commanding extra supplies... Yeah, he doesn't have any bonus. Right, we'll just have this army set up like that. This is fine. And then these guys will go together. We don't want these units because, once again, expensive. We're just going to disband these. That way we can constantly shuffle these generals in and out. We're not going to load them up with peasants for now. In the future we will. In the future we'll always have two armies move together with just maybe one massive peasant stack to charge at the enemy. Which, that's what we have right here. And that's pretty much it. I don't think we can mix... Yeah, we can't really mess with the tax rate. We have a very different court structure. And we'll talk about it when we unlock stuff. And faction-wise, we're looking for extra prestige or actually enlightenment to increase our faction rank. So what we're actually looking for is more reforms before we can move up the tiers here. All right, let's end turn here. All right, Chen Gui died right away, a bit early. All right, so here is where I don't remember how things worked, because each one of these represent one of the classes. One of these is a scholar, one of these is a veteran, and one of these is a healer. I really want the veteran. I'm guessing this is healer. Just a straight guess. Scholar. I'm gonna guess frugality is veteran. No idea. We'll just remember for future recruits. Did we get one right away? Do we have to wait a turn? We might have to wait a turn. Yeah, I don't see any new characters right now. So frugality is the one we picked this time. We want ourselves an inn, which we already mentioned why. Let's scout up ahead. No one's home. We are going to lose the mustering, which is totally fine, because look at it. We're healing very rapidly. We lose 10%, we'll still be at 43. But we do want to get this healed up. Or 41 apparently. Oh, we're not in the city anymore. We can't reach it, so we'll just wait next turn. They're building fine. Our brothers have taken their land, so what we want to do is see if we can trade. Zhang Jiao is still available for us. What happened? Oh, Zhang we don't border. So they didn't trade between them, so that's good. As you can see, they only have one trade deal. 3.1. We can throw him the armor, something that we can't use, just to boost this deal up. We don't actually have to care much about how they feel about us, but we do have to kind of worry about whether we want to take their money or not, because money we take from them will make them weaker, and we actually want them to be strong. I don't know. Like, normally we'll be doing this, right? We'll be seriously grabbing cash. But now they're just straight up our ally. I don't know. Like, AI cheats. So AI can recruit cheaply, but they only recruit with a percentage of their income per turn. So maybe if we just add... I think we should just ask for cash instead of for per turn, even if it's a worse deal. Because they only allocate like X amount of their income to military. So you don't want to actually drain their per turn income in a sense. Let's see. Yeah, I think if we ask for cash, it's fine, because AI stockpile cash a lot. And if we can just help them deal with that issue by spending it wisely. Actually, that was dumb. That was the amount we were on. Alright, 988. Let's do it. Alright, we got ourselves a nice trade deal going on. Armies move forward. Nothing else we can really do. Let's continue. Alright, new turn. Let's see. Building's done. We want to upgrade this. I'm not in a rush to move this to a small city. One, we don't have enough cash, and two, I need the satisfaction boost, and also keeping a large town gives us the option to loop, which means we can run these guys back to defend very easily. We're going to attack the farmland. Technically, we want the main army to keep moving afterward, so we're going to use these guys to attack. And then we'll move these as reinforcements. Starve out for now. They don't have night battles, so we're not... Oh, and plus we want reinforcements, so it's not going to trigger. There we go. Let's have some fun here. Alrighty, our poor guy is standing right here. But our reinforcements coming. So our peasants can charge. Get off your horse. Walk with the men. Look at our impressive elite units. You guys can all go off to the side. We'll save them for emergencies. They have a nice ability as well. Minus morale plus splash. But we're not going to use these because I don't actually want the enemy to lose morale. Zhang Jiao's like, wait, the troop I'm leading, they got worse all of a sudden. I was holding these, you know, reformed outlaws. Now we have an actual yellow turban movement. Look at that. Wow. What happened to the turban? Why are we wearing straw hats? It's called the yellow turban movement. Pitchforks, hoes. I mean, this hat helps block arrow, doesn't it? It's basically the shield on your head. Well, everyone got a hat, but not everyone have a turban. Oh, here comes the peasants. We probably could have used him as well. These defectors. I might just swap them to archers because they really don't do much for me in the army right now. Like, I don't feel like running them up because they're not peasants. Oh, look at that. Let's see. We can turn off the UI real quick. I can fight this without the UI. We have them hotkeyed. Passing by their farm. Actually, no, we're telling them this farm could be yours after this fight. That's right, we're taking the government's land here. Where's the farmers? They just have animals? See, this is a very Western thought of like keeping the cows in a pasture. You know, in Chinese culture, at least in ancient time, cows are very valuable livestock, as in they can help with farming. So no one actually ate cows. Beef was pretty much not eaten in China. And then pork was always seen as very dirty animals. So they didn't eat pork either. There's not a lot of meat eating back then. So that's why regions like, you know, the Shandong Peninsula, you had fish and salt, so people there actually tend to grow a little bit taller because they had a nice protein intake. Or else you're really relying on soybeans for protein, because a lot of the livestock, you just didn't eat them. Keep moving, keep moving. Enemies right in front of you in this forest right here. See, they're lined up. Charge. Oh, this nice piece of farm is also blocking. Maybe we'll have these two units loop around because it's so crowded. Actually try to get a flank on. What happened over here? We got some very non-athletic farmers. These guys are just like, if the fight in... Ooh, this guy got a rake. Like, if the fight in front goes poorly, they're just not gonna run up. They're like, they can take the enemy archer damage. Look at these stupid people with their straw hats that doesn't block arrows. Alright, clash. Clash. Try to hit the archers. Where's Zhang Jiao? Wait, Zhang Jiao, I lost you. Oh, it's very hard to find our leader here without the UI. Let's see if we can load. We didn't charge him, that's the problem. Alright, we need to find him. Oh, there we go. Oh, actually, he's fighting. Alright, it's fine. We should probably use our ability though. We need to pull him back. Move him up. Move him up. Flanking? Yeah, flanking. There we go. Alright, boys. Get a nice bonus. And then charge. Government forces. Alright, we'll keep chasing them. Look at the government forces run. Where do you think you're going? Ooh, ooh. We're bouncing them off. We have them almost surrounded. We left the opening because, you know, Art of War says never surround. Always leave an opening for your enemy, or else they're gonna fight extra hard. This way, they just route through that opening. Oh, and then they flank us? Art of War never said that. We got them running. Rise of the Peasants. Look at that clash line right there. A lot of our bodies, which is what we like to see. Archers kiting us. Can we get them? Hold on. How did we over chase them? Oh, this poor unit right here is not getting out. Wait, what? How do they... See, they're all like around us, which is really weird. Zhang Jiao, what are you doing? Chilling. Alright, go do some stuff. We might need to send a couple boys over here just to trap them, because they're just kiting us right now. We'll let them route for a little bit. They're probably gonna bounce back like that, and then we can send these guys over. Oh, they routed. Ooh, let's see Zhang Jiao fight. Oh, that's the captain. He had a sword. Ooh. Ooh. I like how we're dismembering people like we have an actual glaive or something. But we don't. Oh! Okay. See, that's realistic. That's not. I don't know how we're poking people with that squint right there. Oh, here comes. We have really good charge. We're knocking people back really hard when we charge down. Look at that. Here comes the peasants. Alright, nice win. They're not going to be killing any more of our men, so might as well claim victory here. Alrighty. Let's see. Only lost 159. Probably not going to move the needle here. Probably just going to get 10 points. Oh, 11. Okay, we got 1 extra. The enemy's still a little weak. I would love to take the extra 100k population. Alright, so at this point, we're going to end our episode. So, like most episode 1s, we don't get a lot of playing time because there's lots of stories to tell. But our goal moving forward is actually we're going to fight Dingyuan. They have Lü Bu, so that's going to be quite a show. Lü Bu against the peasants. But we want the iron mine, we want the town, and we also really want the tool maker. So we're going for that. And we're going to load up with more troops as we build up our economy. Hopefully our brothers will take the farmland here and the... Where's the other farmland? The Ye farmland. Wait, do we already have that? No, that's the Ye farmland. Anping farm. Yeah, so after he takes this, we should get 5,000 more gold, which means I can load up on more peasants. I think I might even switch this out. Maybe for archers, actually. We want a decent fighting force over here. Yeah, that's kind of the plan. We might keep these guys in the back here just to help us keep the town safe, because very soon they will all turn on us, and Liu Yu has Gong Sun Zan in the army, so that could be also very interesting. But we're moving forward. The rush of the peasants will take the iron mine next episode. So hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you all next time. Bye!